You're listening to Talk of the Town, the official podcast of the Petal Area Chamber of Commerce, where we highlight local businesses, community leaders, and the stories that shape our city.
The real reason we moved to Petal, that we chose Petal, was because of the community and the schools. It was very evident that Petal was a place that invested in kids. I saw children come to school who basically had no language. And when a child starts school at that deficit, it's extremely hard for them to catch up.
Nadine Coleman Gay, welcome to Talk of the Town with the Petal Area Chamber of Commerce. I'm so glad you're here.
Well, thank you so much, and I'm delighted to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, this is new. This is a new venture for the Chamber, but I just feel like it's so important to bring our founding members, our community leaders and business owners to a place where they can just share their journey and the heart behind what they do. When there's a buy-in like that, the community just really a lot of times knows more and then dives in. So I'm glad you're here to share all about Excel by 5, which is a wonderful program here. But first, why don't you share a little bit to the viewers about who you are? Who is Nadine?
Oh, thank you. Well, I actually moved to Petal many years ago, over 30 years ago. Moved here the year that Petal School District, or the state of Mississippi, began kindergarten in public schools. So I was one of those first kindergarten teachers. The real reason we moved to Petal, that we chose Petal, was because of the community and the schools.
Even back then?
Back then.
Even 30 years ago?
Absolutely.
So it's been our calling card all along.
It has. It was very evident that Petal was a place that invested in kids. And we had our two daughters, Shannon and Mary Ellen, were elementary age then. And so it was just a great fit for us. That's what we were looking for, a place where we wanted to raise our kids and where we felt like the community would be there to support us.
Yeah. Well, so, where did you move from? Where did you live?
My late husband and I both grew up in Louisiana, in North Louisiana, and he was with the paper industry and came down here when the mill opened out at New Augusta, and so that brought us to the area, and it was an interesting venture for us because we grew up in, we were in our hometown where we grew up and knew everybody.
That's right.
And so to move away with, your young children and really not know folks, it was a bit frightening. But I tell you, we found Petal to be just such a welcoming place. And our girls just fit in and got involved in things. So it was obviously one of the best moves we made.
I'd say so. You've done a lot in your time here. Let's go back, though. You said that being a young mom and moving to a brand new place can be a little frightening. Tell me, I know it's been a long time, but if you can recall, tell me the first moment when you got here that you formed a connection. Who was it with, or where was it? Can you remember that?
Well, actually, we lived in Hattiesburg when we first moved here, just simply because we didn't know, we didn't know the area, we didn't know where to go, and met some wonderful folks there. But, with my being selected as one of the kindergarten teachers, those folks that I taught school with, they really became my connections. At first, we were still in a church in Hattiesburg at that time, so that wasn't really a connection here in Petal. But primarily, the school principal, Peggy Jacobus, was just she was the real deal. I mean, she was such a fabulous educator and did such a great job working with us to get that kindergarten program started.
So it started, you were in the founding group that founded kindergarten here.
And that was so wonderful. I'd had experience in Louisiana, so, that was helpful. But, the folks I taught with were they're still really good friends.
That's wonderful. That speaks a lot to who those people are. All these years later, you're still connected.
Absolutely.
And you're still involved in education, which most people, when they retire, they say, okay, let's travel. Let's do all this. I'm sure you're doing some of that, but you still are so involved. Yeah. So you were an educator.
I was.
That's what I gather. So
I began in the kindergarten classroom here, and I absolutely loved it. In fact, when I accepted the job as director of we called it the Parent Center at that time, our family center. I made sure that if it didn't work out, that I could still come back to kindergarten because I love 5-year-old folks and loved that. So just had a great opportunity, though, to then assume the position as director of the Parent Center.
So the Parent Center, you're going to be teaching me here about the heritage of how this all transpired. But how the Parent Center, where was that? What was it?
Okay. Actually, it was in 1993.
I was 1 year old, Miss Nadine. I was 1 whole year.
Oh, my goodness. The district, Dr. Lewis, William Lewis, and Dr. Stokes, Willie Stokes, were superintendent, assistant superintendent, but they really together, I think, began to think about what could they do to really help parents to be able to help their children. You know, as educators, we say that all the time. We need parents to help. And Petal's a great place for that because parents really do take a role and they do care about their kids, but a lot of times they just don't know exactly what to do to help them. And so the center was opened in 1993, and we actually began, this is hard to believe, but one of the primary things that people wanted at that time, we had checkout computers. Wow. They were big old rolling bag things that they hauled out, and they didn't even have a hard drive. They had a floppy drive, so we would select software for a child age 5, age 7, age 9. But at that time,
that's what was needed.
It's what was needed. And so needless to say, work like that evolves because things change, and at this point, most everyone has some type of electronic device.
In their hand.
Yeah, at all times. Right.
So that's not really a need. As time went on, technology wasn't really a need of a parent.
It was not. So, it changed a lot through the years, but really was designed not only to help parents be able to help their children, but also to be able to connect families with outside resources that could, could help them, that could support them.
Yeah, and so I think I'm correct here. The Parenting Center transformed into the Coleman Center?
It did.
Okay, so share a little bit about the journey of the name change.
Well, we actually began, when we first opened the center, we were in a little blue cinder block building on Main Street, right across from Petal Harvey Church. And so we were there for a number of years, added on to the building. We ended up buying the house next door so we could expand some services there. But we moved then to the former First Baptist Church on Central Avenue, which was a big move for us. We had been settled in that building for about a year when Katrina decided to come. And so then we actually were out of the building for almost a year for renovations. We had a lot of damage, roof damage. And so, but the blessing was that it allowed us then to be able to do some things that would have been a long time coming. So it really allowed us to be able to do some renovations and things.
And so you're still there.
Right.
And what?
The center's still there.
What does that look like for the community?
Well, it again is basically a resource center so that families can be connected with whatever the resources they might need. And sometimes there are a lot of things that are offered there. And the center actually has served as sort of the hub of Excel by 5 because they offer so many resources and programming that are related to young children. So it's still sort of a perfect alignment.
And so there was a name change.
Right.
Yeah, they honored you by changing the name to the Coleman Center.
And it was such an honor.
So when did that happen? I don't remember.
That was when I retired.
Okay, so it was in your retirement. What do you remember the year? I'm sure you do.
Let's see. I've been retired almost 10 years now. So it's been a while.
So it is the Coleman. What an honor.
Absolutely.
What an honor.
And it was such a surprise.
You didn't know?
I had no clue.
Oh, my goodness.
And
share with me how you found that out.
Well, we had a retirement dinner, and we actually did it out in the courtyard area at the center, and it was beautiful. Friends did a great job of getting that ready. But during the event, they announced that the center was going to be renamed, and I was so humbled. It was just
probably
wonderful,
top 5 most moving moments of your life.
Absolutely. I just did not ever, expect anything like that.
Wow.
So it was fabulous.
So I know it as the Coleman Center.
Right.
It was the Parrington Center most of my life.
Right.
Just not one of those things I really knew about. And I feel like the more we can close that gap between the community knowing.
Right.
Because it's there, the resources are there. We just need to figure out ways to communicate to the community.
Absolutely.
They don't know what they have, I think, some of them.
Right. And again, thank you for this opportunity.
Of course.
Because it's a great way to just let people know what is offered.
Can you just come to the Coleman Center?
Yes, it's open to anyone in the community, and offers a variety of resources there. But it's for anyone in the community with young children, preschool age, older children.
Yeah, and birth to 5 is the emphasis, correct?
Pretty much.
I thought so.
Yeah.
It's those preschool years that you're super passionate about, I know.
Well, I am. And fortunately, our school district began to recognize that long ago when we first started Open the Center. Mm-hmm. And that was really when all of the studies about what's really going on, what's really happening in a baby's brain actually started coming out. I still have a copy of Newsweek magazine.
Oh, man.
From that time that was really kind of the first really thing that was put out there for everyone to see. And people were amazed at how critical those early years are.
And Petal's just been really on the forefront of keeping up with those things and adapting to the science.
Exactly.
In child development.
Exactly.
And so.
Yeah. And again, I give the school district so much credit. Not every school district.
No.
Back in that, especially at that time, really, I mean, this consensus probably was we ain't got time to fool with the little ones. We've got our hands full with school-age children. But the bottom line is it's those early years where the stage is really set for how successful they will be. So very, very thankful to live in a community that supports children and families, and a school district that recognized long ago this is where we need to put, we need to put our efforts.
And as a mother of 2 school-age kids, I have one that's in K4 at the primary. He's getting ready to start kindergarten. I'm a little nervous.
Yes.
And then I have one that's 9. She'll be 9 soon in May. And I just cannot think of another district that I cannot fathom raising them in any other district.
Well, and I think most people and I think you've lived here your entire life, but when you talk with people about why they moved to Petal, a lot of it has to do with the schools, of course.
And the resources, and it's just...
And the things that are offered to help support families. That's really important. I think more so now. This day and age.
It is.
Than even before.
Us young parents need all the support we can get.
Absolutely.
We do.
Well, now
totally
that has always been true, but I think we're more rushed now and more,
Go.
And just, sometimes it's good to just sit down and think about what really matters here.
That's right.
The things that you can do.
Yeah. So, okay. So we're going to switch to Excel by 5.
Okay.
So this is separate from the Coleman Center, but a lot of times they're kind of coupled together as one.
Right.
We have Excel by 5, which is from my understanding, and I hope to learn much more about the ins and outs. And this is another reason why I wanted to interview you. But Excel by 5 is a state program.
Right.
And Petal was the very first city to use it.
Very first certified early Excel by 5
and
community.
And you were a part of the founding board at the state level for this program, correct?
Right.
Okay, so let's share all about the journey of how this happened.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting journey, actually. Like I said, we in Petal had already been putting a lot of focus on the early years, so it was perfect timing for us. But it goes back to, I think around 2004. Debbie and Steve Renfro from Moss Point. Debbie was a kindergarten teacher, and her husband Steve worked for Chevron. He was the public affairs chair at Chevron. Well, Debbie came home every day talking about, her kindergartners and basically about how unfair it was that some children came to school so ready and that some were really behind already and probably not going to catch up. And so she kept talking with Steve about that. And so just in, everyday conversation over dinner. And finally, it registered with him that, okay, well, somebody needs to do something about this. And I think Chevron could do it. And so basically what he did was he pulled together a group of early childhood professionals from around the state. We met at Eagle Ridge for a kind of a 2-day retreat and really delved into this idea of what can a community do to help make sure that all children have the opportunity to start school ready to be successful.
Yeah.
And so it was a really interesting, a lot of good discussion. And these were people from a lot of different walks of life, and a lot of different agencies. But we spent that weekend and basically from that weekend evolved this idea of coming up with a way to have communities that would meet certain criteria, have certain things in place to be designated as an early childhood community. So later, I think it was in probably 2005 or so, Governor Barbour and Chevron held a big event and kicked off the statewide initiative. At that point, and it was really special. I spoke with someone who's still in touch with Governor Barbour recently, and he said he really holds that high, as something that he was able to help get off the ground.
Yeah.
And, having that kind of support speaks volumes.
It's a big deal.
It is a big deal. And having Chevron backing, a corporation like Chevron trying to promote this fact was really huge too. It was really big. But at that point, they selected 4 pilot communities, and Petal was one of those 4. And like I said, we were really well positioned because we had already been doing a lot of early childhood work. But so we worked diligently. We had a 3-year process time frame to be able to reach our certification. And we were Mississippi's first Excel by 5 community, and we're still quite proud of that.
And so every year, do we have to renew?
Every 3 years.
Every 3. So it's not every year.
Basically, every year you still do the same, meet the same criteria. You have to.
Yeah.
It's not like every 3 years we need to get busy.
Yeah.
This is something that's ongoing. And so, but every 3 years, we have been recertified, and at that point, we we host a big celebration and invite, families with young children to that. Our very first one, celebration, was held at Hinton Park. And we actually had parachutists jump in with our Excel by 5 flag.
Wow.
And we invited President Bush to come, and he was not able to make it, but he did.
Darn it.
He did send us a letter of congratulations. So we were so excited because it's really significant, when a community comes around behind a cause, that matters so much.
That's right. And I see the fruits of that all around in this town. We are super proud of our early childhood development, our school district. It's just our calling card. It really is. And as a mom, I'm so thankful for all the legwork that your generation put in to make it happen. So we know it's a statewide initiative. We know that we were the first. We know how it came to be. What is Excel by 5?
Okay, I think people question that a lot.
We do. I no longer do, but people do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think most people recognize the logo because it's on the water tower when you drive down the Gandy. But I think there's a lot of, I don't really know what that means. Well, basically, Excel by 5 is a certification process, but it means that the community has joined together to ensure that all of Petal's children, and that's a big calling when you say all of them, all of Petal's children have the opportunity to begin school with the skills that they need, with the health that they need, so that they are really ready to not only succeed in school, but succeed in life.
Right. And Excel by 5. So if to my understanding, there's a collaborative, and the local centers, the local daycares, the school district can all be a part of this collaborative. But then in order to maintain that, there are certain criteria that they have to stay on top of. And this is kind of how we govern. And it's sort of how we make sure that the kids are ready. Because they're following this very specific criteria provided by us, Excel by 5.
That's right. We have partnered with all of the child care centers in Petal for many, many years, but that partnership has strengthened so much. Several years ago, we were able to receive one of the Early Learning Collaborative grants. And so now all of our private church-based Head Start programs are more or less on the same page. They're working together, meeting together, so that all the children, making sure and they share ideas. It's really been a wonderful thing to watch over the years. So that's a real key part of Excel by 5 and the work at the Coleman Center. But there is a coalition made up of members from a lot of different walks of life in our community. You're now on
I'm now part of it,
and we're delighted.
I'm looking forward the most to just learning. As of now, I'm coming to the meetings and I'm soaking it all in because I've never been a part of it. I look forward to being able to just say, this is what it is. This is what it stands for. This is how you participate. Not there yet. I'm learning. But as a mom,
something that's really kind of hard to wrap your arms around to be able to explain because it is broad. And
there's so many things we won't even cover it all here today. We'll just hit on the most important things. We're upcoming on a new school year. So, and I want to add this, you said all centers in Petal are a part of this, all daycare centers, church centers. My children went to a local daycare here. No, that's not true. One of my children went to a local daycare here, and he needed some interventions early. But because of this criteria they have by being a part of the collaborative, they're doing screeners. They're doing all of these things. And so they're catching children that have deficits in places, speech delays, any sort of thing. They're catching this by age 3. And I will tell you, from a mom who has a child that had a speech delay, because of the resources in this town, I was able to have him screened, no charge. I was able to have him with a plan by age 3.
Yeah.
And it's just, you do not get that other places.
Well, I'm so glad you mentioned that from a personal perspective. But not only is it wonderful to have, there are so many. There are delays that if you wait until they start school, you're basically too late. And so it's wonderful to know that, you're in a place that really wants to help, wants to be able to help families, because most moms aren't really aware, of all the things that are out there. And sometimes you tend to overlook things. You think, well, it's your baby. And you think, well, he'll probably catch up, But if you can identify those and get some help early on, man, then they're ready to start school.
He is thriving.
Yeah.
He receives services at the school, the same services he was getting at his daycare. It is so rare and it's so amazing. His services followed him from his daycare to the public school.
Right.
They're all working together. I'm so thankful as a mom for it. And so Excel by 5 is an umbrella term,
right?
In my opinion, and there are different programs that follow under.
Right.
Is this correct?
Right. It is. Excel by 5 is really not a program.
It's an initiative.
Yeah, and we really, what we try to do is to make sure that families are connected with the great things that are out there. Like I said, the Coleman Center is sort of the hub where families can go. It's a physical place, a location where families can go, and they offer, one of the primary programs there is the Parents as Teachers program, where families have the opportunity to have a parent educator do a monthly home visit with them during those first 3 years. And it's during that time that, like I say, sometimes a delay
they'll catch things.
Can be determined. And so it's an amazing program that we've had. Actually, I think the first year we had Parents as Teachers was 1995. So
I had no clue.
Yeah.
I was 3. That's probably why I had no clue.
Right. Right.
The Parents as Teachers, I'm glad you mentioned that because I was going to go there. It's a great resource. It's ages birth to 3, and it is a free resource to the community. So if a parent wanted to partake in this, how would they do it?
They can either just call or go by the Coleman Center, and it's 201 West Central Avenue, and sign up. Sometimes there's a waiting list, but then another family will. We call it graduate. They will age out of the program, and so there will be an opening. But absolutely, just going by there and saying we want to be a part of, or maybe just to say we have questions about it. Tell me what it is. So that
and the Coleman Center's open during regular business hours.
Right. They are open. I think until 4:30, every 8 to I believe it's 4:30 now.
Monday through Friday. Wow. Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Well,
and open in the summer as well. So
which is so important because in the summer it's hard to find things to do. With these children,
and they offer some different. They do offer some different children's events. They're getting ready, I understand, for a big beach party that's coming up.
Well, I was also gonna mention Week of the Young Child is coming up, which is a big week at the Coleman Center.
It is.
There's always things going on at the Coleman Center for the community, but that week they try to hit multiple different, physical, emotional. All these different categories, and there's a little bit more going on that week.
There is, and it's a great opportunity to stop and think about how important we will be recognizing the child care providers. And it's a great opportunity for us to stop and think about what an important economic development tool child care is, because most folks, most folks need care for their children if they're going to be in the workforce. And so they play not only an important role in preparing the children and loving on them and getting them ready for school. What would parents do without that? So during that week of the young child, we do something to just kind of say thank you. So I would encourage community members, if you know folks who work in early childhood, that's a great week to just say thank you for
just
what you're doing.
Just dote on them that week.
Absolutely.
It's their teacher appreciation week.
It is. It's their teacher appreciation, and it's hard work.
It is.
It's very
There's
hard
a reason
work.
why I do not do it.
Well, I have found through the years that there are people who really are called to do that.
That's true.
You either love it or you really don't want to do it again.
Yeah.
So people who are there are really special people who, have a heart for the work.
They do. And as a mom, I know I keep referencing as a mom, but I feel like all of this is so relevant to my life right now.
Right.
I was not called to be a teacher.
Right.
I love my two.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
But I'm so grateful for the ones that do take care of them.
Yeah.
Since the time they've needed a caregiver or a teacher in this town, I have not had a single bad apple.
Well,
not a single one.
I don't think you could say that in every community,
You
but we
can't.
have amazing folks who really do care about the children. But I think the partnership with the other centers has been really important, and it's really strengthened all the programs.
There's a standard.
Yeah, there is.
And I know that word is a little intimidating sometimes, but there is a standard in Petal.
Right. Right.
For educating our children.
Right.
There is. And I'm thankful for it.
Right.
For one. Okay, so we're going to get ready to wrap it up soon, but I want to ask one thing. We're upcoming on a brand new school year. Mm-hmm. Crazy. It's crazy that it's already time for a new school year.
Is.
But what are some things maybe this summer? What is the need to know info coming from the Coleman Center, Excel by 5, as we approach this new school year?
Well, for one thing, I wanted to be sure I got in and mentioned that you can visit Facebook, Excel by 5 on Facebook, the Coleman Center on Facebook, and they post a lot of things that just ideas, things that parents need to know about. It's getting close to time for school.
Any
to
events
start.
that have
events
they
that
get
are
posted
happening,
there.
but they also provide tips for parents.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's really an important thing to do. Based on my experiences teaching kindergarten, I maintain that one of the most important things you can do with your children, besides loving on them, letting them know that they're incredibly loved, is to read to them.
I knew you were going to say that.
Absolutely,
I knew you were.
because so many children, as adults, you really don't think about what the process was of your not only not learning to read, but to use words. Mm-hmm. And through reading to your children, number one, it's a really important one-on-one time, lap time, I like to call it, where there's a real connection with somebody who cares about them. But the other thing is, even in board books for very young children, you see words that we don't use in common everyday language. Right. And so by reading to your children, you're exposing them to words that they may not otherwise hear, but it gives a parent the opportunity to say, for instance, if they read a story about a brook that, explain to them, that's the same thing as Papa's Creek, that little creek. Right. So give them those words, not only read to them, but give them those words, because if you stop and think about it, we think with words.
We do.
And if you come to school and I saw this, I saw children come to school who basically had no language. Not only had they not been read to, they had basically never really been talked with. And when a child starts school at that deficit, it's extremely hard for them to catch up.
It is.
So the Dolly Parton Library.
That's right.
Which is an amazing
we did it
offering for ours. In Petal. What a great way. They get a free book in the mail every month. And Petal's been very fortunate to be able to provide that for our families. But that's a great way.
It is.
And kids get so excited.
It's like Christmas every month.
I know.
They
going
can't wait
to the mailbox.
And then you can pass those books down.
Right. And then we have a great library program where they do children's stories, I think every Thursday morning.
In the summer, they do crafts.
They do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, great things.
Yeah.
And the same thing with the center. They offer things, year-round, really, for young children.
Yeah.
So where they can participate.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad you came. The last thing we're going to talk about. So we named the Coleman Center the Coleman Center.
Right.
Hey, your last name is Gay.
Yeah, right.
So share with us that journey and all about that. We're Nadine Coleman Gay.
Right. As of 6 years ago, my last name did change. I married a former mayor, Petal Mayor, Jack Gay. He and I both had lost our spouses. And actually, it was a community project that brought us together. As a member of Cosmopolitan Club, we were working on landscaping around the Welcome to Petal sign. And we needed some help. And someone indicated that Jack was a master gardener. And so that's really how our story began, working on the Welcome to Petal sign.
How appropriate is that?
It was pretty appropriate.
For a mayor and an educator, it was just a perfect Petal story.
It was.
So he was I remember Mr. Jack, he comes to the YMCA.
Oh,
and
yes.
So I was formerly the director of health and wellness there before I came here.
Yeah,
and so
I knew you were.
I had Mr. Jack quite a bit in classes or just coming to ride the bike, whatever he was doing. But I also remember that he was the Evelyn Gandy mayor.
Yeah, that's right.
That was his vision.
Right.
And so I remember Mr. Jack, and he was a pillar of the community, and so were you. So it's a perfect pair.
Well, thank you. And we realized recently, I'd been going to another gym, but I recently started going to the Y, and realized that we were both on that original board that when the Y started. He was mayor at that time. He was mayor, when the Y was brought to Petal, and it's been such a great offering, and members can bring their young children and work out, and to me that's a huge.
And the scholarship program, we could go, but I'm going to have Ann on so she can share
absolutely.
There's a whole podcast there on the YMCA because it's a pillar of it's just a fixture in Petal as well.
It is. And it's so wonderful to be able to say that Excel by 5 partners with just about everybody, but we're always looking for new ways to get the word out. And, through our businesses, a lot of our businesses have a community partner with Excel by 5 on their clings on their door. And
we do here.
Love to get more of those out. And I think the best way that, a business can help is, just by saying, we'll go by the Coleman Center or look at Facebook, just letting people know, just as we're trying to do with this podcast, but just letting people know, where they can go to find out about what's happening.
And word of mouth is a strong thing in a small town.
It absolutely is.
I plan on sharing.
Well,
and I'm so thankful to you for coming. And I'm also so thankful for all the work you did.
Well, thank you
to get us here.
Much.
It's such, as a mom, again, I know I keep going back to that, but it's important to us young moms. And so I'm so grateful.
Well, thank you so much for having me.